Owen, why don't you go ahead and start us today?
All right, Coach. First of all, congrats on first win as a head coach. I know you said after post-game, it's not focusing about me, it's on the team, but still, how does it feel just to get that first win of the season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've already moved on. I mean, it's something that you celebrate. It's like I told our players the other day, I said you normally you focus on a win about 4 hours and then you kind of move on, and it's just the nature of the business that we're in, and you don't have time to sit here and dwell on what you've done in the past, and you just got to look at it, evaluate it, correct the things that we did wrong and think that we can improve upon, and like I said, we've already moved on, and it's already game week for step number 2.
You mentioned those corrections. What are some of those things you're looking to improve on entering week 2?
Yeah, I thought we stalled out a couple of times, about 4 times to be honest with you, because of penalties. We had 8 in the course of the game, and those are things, to me, that's a direct reflection of one of the things that we talk about. It's discipline. Pre and post snap penalties are something we put a major emphasis on, and felt like that we had too many of those, and that's obviously going to be a point of emphasis this week, and something that I think continuing throughout the season we got to continue to improve on.
Something I was also curious to hear your thoughts on, in your experience, when a kicker has a tough week, how do you help get them back into rhythm the following week?
Yeah, it's just keep believing in them. I mean, it's just one of those nights. I mean, it's like a golf swing. I mean, you can just be off just a little bit, and I mean, just like last night. I mean, he's out there. He had a great warm up. He felt confident going into the game. He hasn't missed 4 field goals since I've been here. So we have all the confidence in the world in Blair. I mean, he's a tremendous kicker. I think he's one of the best kickers in the country in FCS football, and we're just going to keep believing in him and keep throwing him out there, and he'll eventually figure it out.
Taking a look, just last question for me, with Maverick, for a guy who hasn't been behind center since high school, it seemed like he was relatively comfortable back there. How do you feel like he progressed throughout the game?
I thought the same thing. I mean, there were so many unknowns going into that game. We had, not a lot of new faces. You got a lot of brand new staff, and just how people are going to respond under fire. And so I was very proud of Maverick. Thought he handled it very well. Extends plays with his feet, surprisingly, to a lot of people. He's not just a pocket passer. He can keep the play alive, and is always keeping his eyes down the field. I thought he handled things really well for his first night out, and he'll just continue to get better and better.
Good. You mentioned the unknowns. What did you learn about your team that maybe you didn't necessarily know when you kicked off?
I thought we handled the changes of momentum. They hit a couple of explosive pass plays against our inexperienced defense, and I thought that they handled it. They didn't flinch, so I was very proud of that. Yeah, you never know. Sometimes kids can go into the tank when something like that happens, but I was very proud of the way they handled that situation. They were very composed. They knew that, hey, we got to stop them. We're not going to let them score again, and they settled in, went 7 3-and-outs. I think 72% of the time on 3rd down they got off the field. I thought that was key in the game.
Winning's fun, isn't it? I mean, I noticed that I saw the locker room video, and I thought, holy cow, you made it fun for them. Some are serious, but okay, we won that one. That was the job. Now we move on to the next one. How important is the fun part?
Yeah, it's got to be fun. I mean, it's college football. Winning is hard. Okay, it is hard, and so therefore, when you do win, you have to celebrate. I don't care how you win. I don't care, what it looks like. It doesn't matter. You have to teach young men that, man, this is why we do this. This is why you put in all the hours training in the summer and the heat. So to be able to celebrate victories, that's very important. But then you have to be mature enough as a football team to be able to say, okay, it's over now. We hit the, turn the light off on that win, and let's move on to next week.
Yeah, Kara, jump in there.
Yeah. So what does practice look like this week for you guys?
It doesn't change. We're very big on routine and preparation. I told our kids going into that week that the secret is in the dirt. It's about preparation. Nothing is going to change, and we're just going to continue to try to elevate our preparation as far as mental focus and preparation and understanding your opponent. you know, we were basing everything off of what we had seen a year ago versus Lamar. So now as you begin to get a bigger body of evidence, you have games from this season that you can start to prepare. You just take what you've known about an opponent from a year ago, and you just apply what you see in week one. And a lot of people really improve. They make a lot of improvement from week 1 to week 2, and we expect nothing less from our opponent this week.
You guys have Prairie View A&M on Saturday. What is that matchup looking like right now?
Well, I mean, there's the team that went 7-5 a year ago. They just won a big rival game. They got a lot of experience up front on offense. They're very athletic on defense. So again, still a lot of our focus is going to continue to be on us as a team and control the things that we can control. If we do that, then you know, I feel good about our progress and where we're headed as a team and as a program. So we'll obviously study our opponent, be very familiar with those guys, but again, we're going to put a major emphasis on us continue to improve and raise our level.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, one for me. You look at their stat sheet from last week. They threw the ball 6 times. They ran the ball 63 times. You guys talked about being able to thrive in those one-on-one matchups. What does that do for your linebackers and your secondary going into this week, expecting a heavy run?
Well, if you can force people into being one-dimensional, you know, to me it should be an advantage. I mean, you load the box and force them to try to win those matchups that you're referring to. So again, we'll challenge them, and if they want to turn it into a run game, then we'll challenge our corners to be able to match up on wide receivers, and we'll load the box and you know, try to keep them one-dimensional. So and then if you can get them behind the chains early, and which is our philosophy all the time, we want to get people behind the chains, keep them there in 2nd and long, and then get off the field on 3rd down, just like we did last week.
How about that Florida State LSU game last night?
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, you know, it was fun to watch. Obviously excited for. Got friends on that staff at Florida State, obviously with Chris and Mike, and this is one of the stranger games that I've seen. You know, I've said all the time. I mean, in college football, a lot of the momentum plays come in special teams, and you look at 2 drop punts by LSU, a missed field goal by LSU, a blocked extra point by LSU, and that was obviously the difference in the game. But excited for those guys. That was a big win.